Bondi Beach massacre.
We know that, unfortunately, to be Jewish is to be a target in far greater numbers than the general population.
Calls to change gun laws after a father and son gunmen kill at least 15 people. Plus, families fighting homelessness.
I'm tired of hearing politicians talk about the issue when they're not talking to the families.
Two mothers detail how they were dismissed by doctors and their children ended up on the streets. And celebrating winter.
It was super cold, my feet are numb, but it was super fun.
Windsor opens its new City Hall Square skating rink.
CTV News with Stefanie Masotti.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on CTV Windsor and AM 800. Anguish and anger after an anti-Semitic terror attack in Australia. A father and son targeting members of Sydney's Jewish community who are marking the first night of Hanukkah. 15 people are dead, including a 10-year-old girl, a rabbi, and a Holocaust survivor. The government is facing scrutiny over its handling of unchecked hatred. CTV's Julie Trin on the victims, the shooters, and what the investigation is revealing.
Grief uniting hundreds of mourners 24 hours after a mass shooting on Bondi Beach. Violence that turned the celebration of Hanukkah into carnage.
Hundreds of people running and screaming off the beach. So I turned around and we just started running back as quick as we could back to our hostel.
At least 15 people were killed, dozens were wounded. The victims range in age from 10 to 87 years old. Among those killed, the rabbi leading the celebration, Eli Schlanger, who had relatives in Toronto.
He was just full of life, positivity. It was his mission to bring the light of Judaism into the world.
Authorities call the attack terrorism and anti-Semitic.
The offenders are a 50-year-old and 24-year-old male who are father and son.
Police aren't releasing the suspect names, but Australian media are identifying them as Sajid Akram and Naveed Akram. The father was shot by police and had immigrated in 1988 as a student. His son Naveed was born in Australia.
He was examined on the basis of being associated with others, and the assessment was made that there was no indication of any ongoing threat.
38 other people remain in hospital, but the death toll could have been much greater if not for a bystander. Ahmed Al-Ahmed, a local fruit vendor from Syria, tackled the older suspect and was also shot multiple times. 2 decades ago, Ottawa Rabbi Chaim Mendelson participated in the Hanukkah ceremony on Bondi Beach. He calls Ahmed a hero.
He is literally the light in the darkness. He is the silver lining of this story. He is the reminder that there is a safe future for all of mankind to live together.
In the aftermath of this attack, Australia's leaders are promising to tighten already tough gun laws, including putting limits on the number of guns a person can own, as well as reviewing licenses. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Now, hours after that mass shooting at the Hanukkah event in Australia, Windsor's Jewish community gathered to light the menorah.
Our job is to bring the light into the world. It's hard, it hurts, we want to cry, but at the end of the day in order to make this world a better place, we need to share more light.
Around 100 people gathered along the riverfront for the lighting of Windsor's tallest menorah. It marks the start of the 8 days of Hanukkah. Officials from all levels of government spoke out against the violence in Australia, including Mayor Drew Dilkins, who lit the menorah. Rabbi Shalom Gal-Purin says that there's a need for more tolerance in the world.
We need to be able to tolerate. I can have a difference of an opinion of you. I can believe in a different entity or whatever you want to say in religion. But at the end of the day we're got the same blood, we're human, and we should be able to respect one another and to be able to live together in peace and harmony.
In other news, Unifor is embarking on a new fight focused on families with loved ones who are homeless or facing an addiction. The union wants to find out how many of their members are currently struggling to bring new awareness to this issue. Joining me with the details on this tonight, Michelle Molesky.
Yeah, Stefanie, this is all being spearheaded by a Windsor mom, Jody Nesbitt, who also happens to be the president of Unifor Local 240. She's sharing her very personal, very traumatic life experience in the hope that it will help someone else.
I'm tired of hearing politicians talk about the issue when they're not talking to the families.
Jody Nesbitt's 31-year-old son is living on the streets as his mental health illnesses and subsequent addictions have taken hold of his life.
To have no shoes and be wearing a winter coat in 100-degree weather, that's not somebody that's able to make up their mind and make a choice on whether to be treated or not.
Over the last decade, Nesbitt has been dismissed by doctors, ignored, or not even consulted.
He took him off of a community treatment order, and within 2.5 months, he was homeless.
Nesbitt now has Unifor's Ontario Council backing her fight to give families more say in how their loved ones are treated and how their workplaces navigate the trauma at home.
We're struggling because we've been up all night. There's been police at our doors, or our loved one has come to our doors. We're being asked by psychiatrists or hospital officials, well, maybe if he could come home. They don't know what we've been through. They don't know what risks we've already made.
Susan Fulmer knows what it's like to be dismissed by doctors and police.
They're like, oh, no, he's fine. 2 hours later, he was threatening to put an electric toothbrush through my eye socket.
Her son Tyler was living on the streets and suffering from drug-induced psychosis.
You can only get met by those roadblocks so many times before you throw your hands in the air and say, I'm going to be the kind of parent I never wanted to be, and I'm going to walk away. And I won't do that.
Fulmer took it upon herself to find her son and bring him home.
He is clean and sober and has been he just celebrated his 1 year. So that's fantastic. When he stays away from substances, then obviously the psychosis doesn't rear its ugly head.
She believes if doctors and police had listened to and taken into account her valuable information about who their son is, he might have recovered sooner.
We could help keep these people safe, which in turn keeps the public safe, which is why the laws were created in the first place.
Jody Nesbitt is organizing a town hall meeting for January 17th for family members of people who are either living on the streets and struggling with mental health and addictions, or both. She's reluctant to reveal the location and time because she wants families to feel comfortable sharing their stories. So if you email Nesbitt, she will connect with you to give you the details. Her email is on the screen now, and Stefanie, we will include it in our online website coverage of this story as well. If people want to reach out and they want to get together to share their lived experience.
Yeah, we appreciate her sharing her story with us. Okay, Michelle, thank you for this.
You're welcome.
In other news, flames and heavy smoke pouring out of every second-story window in a downtown Windsor fire this morning. The fire was spotted in a vacant house on Mercer Street near Wyandotte just after 8 a.m. Firefighters were there for 4 hours before turning it over to investigators, who were unable to enter the house and couldn't determine the cause of the fire. No injuries have been reported, but there are now plans for an emergency demolition of the property.
We do know that in 2017, there was a demolition permit pulled for that property that was withdrawn. So at this point, we have one of our fire investigators on scene with Windsor Police Arson. If anyone has any information or neighbors in the area, commercial businesses in the area with any video footage that might be helpful, please reach out to Windsor Fire or Windsor Police.
Windsor Police has launched a new in-house bail compliance dashboard to monitor high-risk offenders in real time. The digital tool gives officers immediate access to addresses, photos, and release conditions, which police say will help improve compliance and public safety. It also shares information with the OPP, which enhances coordination on firearms and violent crime cases. In 2025, Windsor Police say they tracked 370 high-risk offenders, leading to 95 investigations and 77 charges. Families are now being encouraged to get their little ones vaccinated against the flu after 3 children died from flu-related complications. We are seeing a surge in flu cases across the country. CTV's Abigail Beeman on the vulnerable populations and the push to get a flu shot.
This is good that we're getting our flu shot.
Renelle Shalafu and her 3 adult children get their flu shot together every year.
I think it's important.
In the first 2 weeks of December, 3 children between the ages of 5 and 9 died from Influenza A-related complications across Ottawa and the wider region.
Unfortunately, this is a cluster that we had over the last couple of weeks within a certain region, and which is rare. It's sad.
Officials say the cases are with the coroner and they don't yet know if the children had underlying medical conditions or whether they got their flu shot.
The strain this year is a more dangerous strain, a stronger strain if you'd like, and can cause severe complications in young children and in the elderly.
Ottawa's Children's Hospital saw 300 positive flu tests between December 1st and 10th. During the same period last year, there were just 11. Flu rates are up across the country. The latest data, only available up till December 6th, though, puts national percent positivity rates at 20.2%, highest in the Prairies and Ontario, while Ottawa's are at 36.5%.
Tragic reminder that we should be getting our influenza vaccines.
Dr. Isaac Bogosh says the flu kills between 2,500 and 3,500 Canadians each year.
People sometimes think influenza is just the sniffles or a little cough or a cold, and nothing can be further from the truth. It's a very significant viral infection.
The message to get vaccinated important ahead of the holiday season, with parties and gatherings and more people mingling from different places. Experts remind you to follow the basic hygiene rules, cough and sneeze into your sleeve, and consider wiping down high-touch areas like doorknobs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
CTV meteorologist Julie Atchison joins us now for a first look at the weather tonight. Julie, dangerously cold temperatures out there if you are not dressed properly.
Yeah, feeling those wind chills close to a -20 overnight. Today, bitterly cold air, well below normal for this time of year, a good 10 degrees below where we typically are for a normal daytime high. Now, across Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent, daytime highs between -7 and -8, and the wind chill through the afternoon and this evening into the teens. We have seen a few breaks in the cloud cover. We did start the day with overcast skies and a few light flurries. As we head into this evening, the temperature, yes, getting even colder out there. So we'll drop down to about -13 at midnight with the wind chill close to -20. The winds have been gusting out of the southwest. The winds ease off overnight. Milder temperatures on the way in the extended forecast, and even some sunshine on the way for tomorrow. I'll have your local weather details coming up in just a few minutes.
Stellantis announcing today that the Windsor Assembly plant has hired over 1,000 workers so far for its new 3rd shift. Employees are building 6-pack power Dodge Chargers and Chrysler minivans. The company says it aims to hire 1,500 people by early 2026. Stellantis currently employs around 10,000 Canadians. 5,500 of them are in Windsor. Police are warning drivers to stay alert and use extra caution at the heavily congested EC Row and Banwell intersection. Police say ongoing construction has contributed to multiple crashes. Officers advise reducing speed, avoiding distractions, and leaving extra space for merging vehicles. Drivers are encouraged to consider alternate routes like County Road 42, Tecumseh Road East, or Riverside Drive to ease traffic. Police say they will continue maintaining a strong police presence in the area to help improve safety. Residents on Roseland Drive are pushing back against a proposed townhouse development, saying the plan could bring more traffic, parking issue, and change the character of their neighborhood. CTV's Bob Belichico explains.
95% they said no to the project.
Issam Saeed and a group of Roseland residents canvassed the neighborhood, asking for their opinions on a proposed 16 townhouse development that may be built on the former site of St. James Church. And he says most people don't want it.
RD 1.4, single family houses. That's what we are looking for. We are not against building houses. We are against building townhouses, to be clear.
So this property here is like an island in the middle of this South Windsor neighborhood in the Roseland area. Mr. Saeed would like to see the integrity of this neighborhood kept intact with custom-built homes rather than townhomes.
I think we've struck a good balance between density and, concern for the neighborhood.
Dave Petretta, president of Petcon Realty, tells CTV News he has been sensitive to the desires of the neighborhood from the beginning of this process as he grew up across the street.
The reason I bought it was to make sure there was some control about what happened there in terms of traffic, in terms of design, in terms of how things fit within the character of the neighborhood.
Petretta says the intent is not to turn the townhomes into rental units.
So there's no intent for transient occupancy, at least not for me. And certainly even the price point they're going to sell for it, it's just not economically viable to make these rental units.
Are you going to put a condition that you cannot rent it out? No. Nobody can do that. So the new owners of these 6 units will do whatever they want.
Saeed worries the project would decrease property values and increase traffic in the neighborhood. The city's Development and Heritage Standing Committee approved the proposal earlier this month. Saeed has started a petition and plans to present it on January 12th when City Council votes on the proposal.
Hopefully the councillor will listen to us.
City Council approved the city's development on Roseland Golf Course, which is a 4 or 5 story building, which is way more intrusive and impactful and doesn't fit the character of the neighborhood. So if City Council has a problem with this, then they're certainly going to have a problem with that.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
Some Essex residents are still waiting on their new balloon recycling carts, and with the program launching in January, the mayor says time is starting to feel tight. Essex Mayor Sherry Bondi says there are still gaps in the rollout of the new provincial recycling program, with roughly 200 households in her municipality not yet receiving a blue cart. She says the missed deliveries aren't confined to one area, pointing to land lease communities, new subdivisions, apartments, and rural roads as problem spots. Bondi says she's been gathering addresses directly from residents and passing them along to Circular Materials, the organization overseeing the program, as she tries to head off confusion before pickup begins in early January.
They're providing me reassurance that they will get to everybody. But I saw my list, I'm checking it twice, and I know there's more out there that are not on my list. I also know that Essex isn't unique. This is happening in other communities, and I'm trying my hardest to get ahead of it because I know come January, our staff are going to be getting calls and complaints, and it's really not under municipal jurisdiction. It's a provincial program now, but I don't mind helping connect the dots and fill the gaps where I can.
So here's our question of the day. Do you prefer a larger 360-liter cart or a smaller 240-liter blue bin for recycling? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. On Friday, we asked if you eat out more than once a week. Around 1,100 people responded. 79% say they don't. Leamington has approved their 2026 budget, and it includes a 2.5% tax increase. The increase works out to an additional $67.13 per year, or roughly $5.60 per month on a home assessed at $190,000. The municipality says the modest increase will allow the town to maintain service levels, address inflationary pressures, and advance major capital projects planned for next year. The capital projects are worth $79 million and include sewer separation work, road reconstruction, waterfront improvements, and other critical infrastructure upgrades. It's a feather fest at Point Pelee, still ahead on Windsor's news leader. From bluebirds to hawks, why birders are counting every feathered friend. And when we return, a new hub for winter fun and community gatherings. Disbelief and sadness in Hollywood today over the death of director Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle. Their son, Nick, has been taken into custody. CTV's Andrea Case on Reiner's legacy and the investigation into the apparent double murder.
are a meathead.
From a career started in front of the camera, Rob Reiner went on to be one of the most successful filmmakers of all time. The man behind so many iconic films lived in the quiet, upscale Los Angeles neighborhood of Brentwood. That quiet was shattered on Sunday afternoon when emergency crews responded to a 911 call after 3:30. At the home, they discovered two bodies, a man and a woman, and it was quickly ruled a homicide. Search warrants were issued, and a coroner identified the deceased as Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner. The couple's bodies were discovered by their 28-year-old daughter, Romy. 6 hours later, a shocking arrest was made.
We're able to take into custody Nick Reiner, a suspect in this case.
Hi, I'm Marty DeBurton.
78-year-old Reiner was an award-winning writer, director, and actor. He was known for directing iconic films, including This is Spinal Tap, The Princess Bride, and A Few Good Men.
You can't handle the truth.
What you really take away from his movies is a generosity, right, where it's not about his style, it's about serving the work, and it's about giving room to actors.
The Reiners have been married since 1989. Ironically, it was on the set of a romantic comedy they met.
When he went into make, when Harry Met Sally, he met Michelle Singer, fell in love, and changed the ending of the movie to a happy ending.
A decade ago, Nick Reiner co-wrote a semi-autobiographical film called Being Charlie, about a young drug addict who works his way to sobriety. It was directed by his dad, Rob. The two attended its premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival. At the time, Rob Reiner said of rehab programs, it works for some, but it can't work for everybody. I'm Andrea Case for CTV News.
Volunteers bundled up and headed into the woods at Point Pelee National Park today for the 73rd annual Christmas bird count, a tradition that's been helping scientists track bird populations for more than a century. CTV's Chris Campbell shows us why the count matters.
From sunrise to late afternoon, volunteers crisscrossed Point Pelee National Park, binoculars in hand, counting every bird they could identify.
All you have to do is kind of keep an eye out.
The event is part of the longest-running citizen science program in North America, with data from Point Pelee contributing to a continent-wide snapshot of bird populations.
We saw some eastern bluebirds, we saw a bunch of waterfowl, so many of them actually far out. They kind of look like an insect swarm with how many of them are coming off the water.
We've got some ducks and eastern bluebird and a red-tailed hawk.
The Christmas bird count began in 1900 and each year provides researchers with critical long-term data on bird populations and migration patterns.
I think it's great. That's why I'm here.
It's really important because this is the largest citizen science push in North America.
Organizers say Point Pelee plays an important role because of its location along three major migratory routes, making it a hot spot for both resident and visiting species.
We want to know what's in the park. We want to know how many there are, possibly. And that data can be used for all sorts of different things after the fact.
By late morning, birders had more than 24 species recorded, with hopes of seeing 100 by the end of the day. Volunteers spotting everything from waterfowl to songbirds, despite winter conditions.
There aren't very many birders, or birds for that matter, near the top of the lookout tower here, the new observation deck at Point Pelee National Park. It's a little windy, a little cold, but hey, the Christmas bird count is going. There's a few seagulls if that's your sort of thing, but other than that, it's better probably to stay down on the ground.
It's a lot better than in summer because there's no leaves, so you have better sight lines.
While the work requires cold hours outdoors, participants say it's also about learning, connection, and conservation.
Not a lot of people go out in the middle of winter to count birds, so it's important to know what's here now when there's not as many birders out to be able to use those apps and use the information for recording that.
The information collected here will be added to a national database used by scientists and conservation groups to monitor long-term trends in bird populations. At Point Pelee National Park near Leamington, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
And skating has returned to downtown Windsor. Officials cut the ribbon on the new City Hall Square rink over the weekend.
This is more than just a sheet of ice. This is a community space. This is a place for us to all gather and celebrate it.
I mean, it means a lot. I grew up skating on ponds and stuff out in the woods, and that's not super accessible here in Windsor, but it's great that we have this option here so we can get out together.
Santa's gonna come.
And Santa's going to come too.
It's definitely a lot different than the old rink.
City Council made the bold decision to say we are not going to spend $1 million on an ice rink that is underperforming. We want to do something really nice for our community. I think it's great. I think it's skating. I mean, I remember skating being really part of my Windsor culture when I was growing up here. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
It was super cold. My feet are numb, but it was super fun.
Canada's inflation rate remained unchanged last month, but tell that to consumers who are still paying more for groceries as food prices reach a 2-year high. CTV's Colton Prale looks at the numbers.
Today's data paints a pair of contrasting pictures. A national economy showing signs of improvement, but one where Canadians seeing their monthly and weekly bills climb even higher. At a headline 2.2% increase, inflation in November was on par with October. But core metrics closely monitored by the Bank of Canada dropped below 3% for the first time since March, a sign its fiscal policy is working. But ask Canadians how they feel about the economy, and it's a very different picture.
It's the prices that we're interacting with every day that show prices have increased way more than our wages. And so you have that sticker shock value when you're at the grocery store, when you get your cell phone bill every month.
Prices for fresh or frozen beef are up nearly 18% year over year. Coffee is almost 28% more expensive. And this month, higher prices for fresh fruit, berries, sugars, and confectionery mean grocery prices are 4.7% higher year over year, the biggest jump in 2 years. Canadians are also paying more for their cell service, which climbed nearly 13% this year. According to Thiessen, part of the reason Canadians are feeling the impacts of inflation more is that in the last 4 years, food prices are up roughly 30%, while wages climbed only 20%. Colton Prale, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's main stock index edged lower as the price of oil fell. In Toronto, the TSX lost 44 points. In New York, the Dow fell 41, the Nasdaq dropped 138. The Canadian dollar is technically down, but lost just 0.01 cent. On commodity markets, gold gained almost $7 an ounce and oil lost 562 cents a barrel. Drug shortages. Later, the strain on drug supplies as Americans increasingly cross the border to buy medications.
A wintry scene to share with you from Harrow. This is Lake Erie. Thank you so much, Mauro Tonin, for sending this one in. Lots of cloud cover in this photo. We're going to break that cloud as we head into tomorrow. We have some sunshine and a couple calm days on the way before some wet and windy weather moving into the region on Thursday. An up and down week, but temperatures are headed in the right direction this week. We will return to what's normal for this time of year.
Julie joins us again. Julie, let's talk about when it's going to warm up a bit.
Yeah, tomorrow we'll start to see things changing and shifting, and temperatures over the next 7 much warmer in terms of what we've been experiencing recently. Today, that high just a -8, and I mentioned off the top those wind chills are really biting, and overnight we'll have wind chills close to about -20. So when you look at our high and our low temperature of -8 and -10, it's a far cry from where we should be for this time of year. It was nice though to finish the day with a bit of sunshine. So we had that cloud cover and flurries early in the day, but the cloud cover breaking up just before sunset. -17 with the wind chill in Essex County right now. Satellite radar showing the nice break in the cloud cover. We will see a bit of cloud overnight, but not expecting anything, no snow in the forecast tonight. So things calming down just a bit. It's also been windy today with those winds out of the southwest. The winds will briefly ease through the overnight before picking back up again. Now, as we look across across the country. We do have some warmer air to talk about that will eventually move its way in. And as it starts to come into southern Ontario, it will bring the chance of rainfall. But tomorrow will be a beautiful day. We have lots of sunshine in the forecast, a gorgeous afternoon, and temperatures, as I mentioned, will start very cold first thing in the morning, but by the afternoon coming in near or just above the freezing mark. The next system that comes in will bring us some rainfall, and the next chance for that will come in on a Thursday. Now, there's a slight probability on Wednesday. You can see a little bit of rain materializing through lower Michigan, but I'm not expecting us to get into a steadier rain until we hit Thursday. It's warm in Western Canada, breaking records in southern BC today. Temperatures extremely warm again, double digits through Calgary, but on the northern side of the jet, the cold air is encompassing much of the country with the exception of southern British Columbia, Alberta, and that warmth is just starting to sneak its way into southern Saskatchewan. We'll stay cold overnight, -12 to -13, and I mentioned the wind chills. If you are heading out tonight, it'll be very cold first thing in the morning as well. But we will start the day with some sunshine, and that'll be nice. Mainly sunny conditions right through the afternoon. First thing in the morning, though, at -10, but we're going to battle our way out. We'll hit +1 in the afternoon with mainly sunny skies. Let's get you through the next 7, our Enercare forecast for your Wednesday. Increasing amounts of cloud cover and the high coming in at +2. And then it's rain on Thursday. I'm not sure how you feel about the rain versus the snow. Many people this time of year perhaps would prefer the snow, but if you're one of those who's wishing it was warmer, yes, we have rain in the forecast and gusty winds at 6 degrees on Thursday. That's going to make a bit of a mess on areas that have received the snowfall. +6 as we head through the day, and then Friday the crash comes. We're back down to -4 with about a 40% chance of flurries. It'll be that cold air coming in that will generate some off-lake flurries off Michigan. As we head into Saturday, a 40% chance of a rain-snow mix if you are traveling this weekend. We'll be keeping an eye on the Saturday forecast. Sunday looks good at +1 and at the freezing mark under a mix of sun and cloud a week out. So tomorrow 1 degree, and there'll be 0 to +1 as we head 7 days from now. That's better, Stefanie, for sure. And as we head into the week, we have rain in the forecast Thursday, not snow.
Lifetime. Brought to you by Safeguard Medical Alert Systems.
The Canadian Pharmacists Association is raising concerns, saying Americans are increasingly crossing the border to buy prescription medications here in Canada, and that could strain supplies and affect patient access. CTV's Pauline Chan reports.
Americans have been coming across the border to Canada and Mexico for years, seeking cheaper medications. But recently, there's been a worrisome development.
What we've noticed more recently, of course, is that some states have developed these programs that are a little bit more bulk purchase-like. So they're not fully, state endorsed, but there's employers who are doing it.
And the concern is that bulk purchases like that could adversely affect Canadian medication supplies and aggravate shortages. Some types of medications most commonly affected by cross-border purchasing include diabetes and weight loss drugs like insulin and GLP-1 drugs like Ozempic or Wegovy, biologics, and oncology drugs. A recent study shows almost 60% of Americans suspect or even knowingly buy their medications from outside the U.S., especially from Canada.
People look to Canada because we have the similar drugs, but we also have a very safe and well-known pharmacy system.
Walker points to BC, which is able to track where drugs like Ozempic are going.
There was quite a significant amount going through a couple of pharmacies in BC down to the U.S.
It's technically not allowed, says Walker, but other provinces don't have systems to track purchasers. The Canadian Pharmacists Association would like to see the ability to track purchasers' data in all provinces.
Enforcement still remains a little bit of a difficult topic, primarily because Canadian pharmacies are regulated and the profession is regulated by regulatory authorities in each province. But if you're acting outside of that and you're not a licensed pharmacist or you're not a licensed pharmacy, technically the colleges don't really have a way to regulate you.
It adds that U.S. purchasers not only drain resources from Canadian patients, they also put an administrative burden on Canadian pharmacists and doctors as we struggle to find alternative medications. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
A Manitoba woman is suffering from 4 extremely rare medical conditions, which has now taken away the ability for her to digest anything. And the surgery required to fix them is not available in Canada, leaving her to pay a hefty medical bill from outside the country. CTV's Alex Karpa reports on her limited options.
Okay, so this is my feeding tube.
For most people, eating is simple, but for Nicole Friesen, it's something her body can no longer do.
So this is all of my feed.
Friesen lives with 4 rare vascular compression syndromes, including superior mesenteric artery syndrome, a disorder that makes it extremely difficult for food and fluids to pass through her digestive system.
I am reliant on a feeding tube and a PICC line for nutrition and hydration because of that.
Friesen says she's battled digestive issues her entire life. As she got older, eating became nearly impossible.
I got to a point where I couldn't eat more than like 3 bites of food, and I would feel very, very full and nauseous, and I would have severe pain for hours. So I would just be curled up in the fetal position with a heating pad in bed, and I was just stuck that way every time I tried to consume something.
Desperate for answers, Friesen saw around a dozen medical professionals in Manitoba, but didn't get the answers she'd hoped for. She then traveled to Spain this past June for further testing, where doctors confirmed SMAS, along with 3 other rare conditions.
To have 2 or more of these conditions would be extremely rare, and to have all 4 would be very, very rare.
Friesen is scheduled for specialized surgery in Virginia since it's not available in Canada.
When somebody has a very rare condition or a collection of rare conditions, it's not uncommon to feel that there's a lack of care that's available.
Friesen wants one prayer answered.
We're very hopeful that this surgery will allow me to be able to regain that ability to eat.
Holding out hope, her story sheds light for others going through a similar journey. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winkler, Manitoba.
Holiday light coming up on Windsor's news leader, lighting up the holidays with handmade star lanterns. Record-breaking generosity. Cans for a Cause has wrapped up for another year, shattering previous collection totals. CTV's Travis Fortnum shows us just how much was collected. The 22nd annual Cans for a Cause fundraiser again wrapped up Friday at Devonshire Mall, collecting more than $60,000 in cash and almost 157,000 food items for the Society of St. Vincent de Paul. Those numbers mark a significant jump from last year, $20,000 more than 2024 and more than 2.5 times the amount of cans. Volunteers were on site Friday from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. collecting donations. However, the Society says the donations collected on Friday will only carry them through to March as demand remains high. Heading into the holidays, a Windsor man says he's hoping a gift he is providing to his community will help brighten their Christmas.
I want to donate this bottle because I want to contribute to the Filipino Community Center here in Windsor.
Daniel Aguilar built and donated a star lantern to the Filipino Community Center of Windsor, Essex. Made out of bamboo sticks, Aguilar says each lantern takes 30 minutes and is a traditional holiday symbol in his culture. The lantern is meant to signify the Star of Bethlehem. For the past 7 years, Aguilar says he's crafted the lanterns to help Filipinos living in Windsor.
Everywhere you go, yeah, especially in the market, at church, and the government buildings, they all around you see parole everywhere. They're gonna be homesick, but to release the homesick, you can come here to Filipino Community Center and join us.
Global tourism is the focus of a new Destination Niagara strategy announced today by Premier Doug Ford, aimed at showcasing the region on the world stage.
Niagara has the potential to be a true tourism powerhouse and a world-class destination that drives Ontario's economy and keep tens of thousands of Ontario workers on the job. And we're doing everything we can to unlock that potential. With tariffs and economic uncertainty taking direct aim at our economy, Targeting Ontario workers and businesses is more important than ever that we support new opportunities for workers and attract new jobs and investments.
The strategy, which will see billions invested into the region, aims to double its tourism impact. Niagara region currently generates $3 billion for Ontario's GDP each year. Money provided from the province will go to arts, tourism, and transit infrastructure.
This is your CTV Windsor Our Community Calendar. The Brentwood Dream Hope Lottery is back with your chance to win big while changing lives in the community. For details, visit BrentwoodLottery.com. Play responsibly. See you next time on Our Community.
It's time to check in on what's happening now with Melanie Kentner. And Melanie, let's talk some more about a local mom who's really fighting for her family.
Yes, Stephanie. So Unifor Local 240 President Jody Nesbitt is organizing a town hall in January for anyone who is struggling with a loved one who is living on the streets and who may be suffering from substance abuse. She wants people to come together to share their mutual frustrations with lack of access to healthcare decisions and the frustration of wanting to help a loved one who maybe doesn't think they need it. Nesbitt says ever since she first opened up about her personal story, dozens of people have reached out in similar situations.
What I found once I started sharing is that it's not just me, I'm not alone. And it's a very lonely place to be when you don't have anybody that's walked that journey. And there's a lot of shame and guilt as a family member that you can't fix it.
On our website is an email address to reach out to Nesbitt to attend that upcoming town hall meeting.
Okay, and Melanie, we also have a story of note online, an update to the Wheatley water treatment plant.
Yeah, that's right. So the plant is fully up and running after a fire in 2023. The Chatham-Kent Public Utilities Commission spent months working to get the plant back online to offer safe drinking water to Wheatley and Tilbury. They upgraded parts to ensure longevity and reliability. Leamington kept the water flowing during the entire process. You can find more on that story on our website. And in our social spotlight, an Australian man got quite the shock when he was watching his pet cam. He saw his dog had let in some of his farm animals into the living room. The video shows his dog Thunder opening the sliding patio door. Soon after, Sue the steer wanders in, followed by Cricket the horse. The party animals trash the house, and the horse is suspected of drinking most of the water in the fishbowl. The owner was out for dinner at the time, but says all of the animals made it back outside safely.
This is a real-life children's story.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what the house looked like after that.
Oh, and the way it would smell, too. Okay, if any of our viewers have a video they want to send you, how can they do it again?
Yeah, they can email us at newsnow@bellmedia.ca or text it to 10400.
Okay, that's what's happening now. Thank you, Melanie. Gifts, superheroes, and smiles. A private head start on holiday shopping inside Toys R Us. With one more look back at these well below temperatures, Julie joins us. Julie.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. We're going to shift gears tomorrow, bring back some sunshine, and push the temperature back to where we should be for this time of year. So we're going to battle our way out of that deep freeze. Our EnerCare forecast for your Tuesday. Still quite breezy in the afternoon with winds out of the southwest, but look at that. Back up to +1. We'll hit 2 degrees, mainly cloudy on Wednesday, but we will start the day with sunshine. Clouds increase ahead of our next low pressure system that brings rain and gusty winds. We're up to 6 degrees. The crash comes after that on Friday with flurries in the forecast, and then back up to 3 degrees on Saturday. We are in for some up and down weather day to day. This forecast in terms of daytime highs coming back above the freezing over the weekend. Saturday, potential of a rain snow mix, the high 3 and 1 degree on Sunday. So milder air returns to the area, as well as some sunshine. Looking like a nice day tomorrow, and wet and windy rain moving in as we head into your Thursday. That's a wrap tonight. I'll send things back to you.
Hundreds of families across the country got a break from their hospital routine yesterday to go Christmas shopping. CTV's Josh Morano has more on the annual collaboration between Toys R Us and Starlight Children's Foundation of Canada.
Inside the Toys R Us in Nepean, Poppy Roy Smith is making the most of a once-a-year opportunity.
Yay!
Her family is one of nearly 50, picking up new toys hours before the doors open to the public.
You don't really know what to expect, and then you get in here, they're like, oh, here's a little gift baggie, here's a $50 gift certificate, please go get your face painted. Like, they just offer so many special things.
It's really nice to be able to obviously come in here where it's like less chaotic and around like like-minded individuals.
Toys R Us and Starlight Children's Foundation Canada once again partnering to give kids living with serious illnesses a $50 gift card to choose their own gifts and meet some of their favorite superheroes, princesses, and even Santa Claus.
A lot of these families, their day-to-day is hospitals. It's a lot of hardships, and this is just a time for them to come around, smile, have that time with their families, and again, just be free.
Everybody doesn't get to go shopping sometimes because they have a disability, right? So this is a good opportunity for everybody to just get out and pick something that they've never had.
Jordan Ahi is back for another year, and he's not just buying for himself.
I've been donating to Toy Mountain too right now because I don't want anybody to miss out on anything.
For families like Poppy's, the hustle and bustle of holiday shopping can be challenging, so they say they're grateful to have this opportunity.
There's like a lot of loud noises and like a lot of things that we just can't control, obviously. So it's really nice to be able to come in here where it's like, more relaxing for him and like a more enjoyable experience.
Shopping with kids like Poppy is not the easiest task always, especially when stores are really busy and you're trying to navigate with, big strollers and wheelchairs and everything. So having stuff like this, it just gives you a warm, fuzzy hug.
Josh Morano, CTV News.
A special experience, and it is a joy to give, so please give if you can. On behalf of our dedicated team here at CTV News Windsor, thank you for watching. For updates throughout the evening, go to ctvnewswindsor.ca. CTV's Travis Fortnum will be back with their only late local newscast after tonight's football game.